Hey guys, welcome. And this is the Productized podcast. And as you know, this is a series of interviews with product innovators, successful makers, and entrepreneurs. So we hope those who listen to the ideas on this show are inspired to action. For show notes and additional resources related to today's podcast, you can always visit our Medium at productized.medium.com. So today, this is actually the fifth episode of the season 8 of the Productized podcast, and this podcast, of course, is a very special one, very special guests. And my name today, it's me that is going to be your host. I'm Andre Marquet, and today I'm talking with a super inspiring person, Bárbara Aranda da Silva. Hi, Bárbara. How are you?
Nice
So
to be
let me
here.
just give a quick intro to Bárbara for those that don't know Bárbara so well. So Bárbara works on herself to be her best version while being a mother, president of the Portuguese Association of Girl Guides, a director of the South branch of the Portuguese Pharmaceutical Society, and a head of market access oncology in a pharma company. This is how she contributes to a better world. She is also fortunate to have traveled around the world and met different people and cultures that help her within her horizons and a knowledge that we are all connected and we are all citizens of this world that we live in. She's deeply passionate about people empowerment, non-formal education, and leadership. And her experience is mainly with the pharmaceutical industry, with a deep knowledge of market access issues and trends. The engagement with several stakeholders in different environments, societies promotes a big picture approach and an insightful understanding of the Portuguese health system. She's also very active on social and organizations, and that's why she has developed organizational skills such as communication, leadership skills, strategic and problem-solving thinking, strong team focus, and excellent time management and planning skills, as you would expect from the president of the Girl Guide Association in Portugal. So welcome, Bárbara. Where are you joining us from today?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be here today. So I'm joining from Portugal, Paredes, so near Lisbon, and from my home. I'm home office today. So I'm joining from my home in Paredes, where I live since I know myself.
Very well, very well. Can you see the beach from your house?
Not, but it's like 5 minutes walk. So I don't
Right.
see it, but I can walk
But you're
to
close.
it.
You can. I'm
And it's
so
only
envy
5 minutes.
because we are recording from a bunker, Lisbon studio, which is underground, protected against the end of the world, I guess. So no beach for us, no sea for us. So yeah, you said something quite interesting, which is be the change you want to see in the world. I guess it's not your sentence, right? But what do you mean with these words? What is the meaning that these words have on you?
It's not my sentence, it's true. It's something that I read, and it's very known, this sentence, but for me it's very strong and powerful because it's quite simple. Like if you want to change, it has to start on you. So and I experienced that during my life in my different roles and in the girl guiding, that you need to be the change you want to see. So the meaning is like it has to start on you, and it can start in one individual, and then you spread to others and you make a huge impact and change. So that's the meaning I have to this quote, I can say.
Mm-hmm. And you are a mother of almost 3. Can you explain almost 3
Yes, I can
to
explain.
our audience?
I was, yeah. So almost 3 because I'm 9 months pregnant. So I'm grateful that he was not born before we have this conversation,
Who
because if he
knows? Who
would,
knows? He's
probably I would not be
listening. He's
here.
listening.
Yes, he is listening. Afonso is listening. I have a huge bell you don't see because I'm like this. But yeah, so I have two small kids, one with 5, another with 3, and now Afonso will be born in 1 or 2 weeks, whenever
All right.
he's
We're waiting
prepared.
for you,
So
Afonso. So
yes,
you are also president of the Portuguese Association of Girl Guides. You are a director of the branch of the Portuguese Pharmaceutical Society, and also the head of a market of the market access oncology in a pharma company. Can you tell, for lots of people, I guess everyone is virtually familiar with the Portuguese Association of Girl Guides, right? Very, very powerful, impactful organization here in Portugal. But can you tell us a little bit about the Portuguese Association of Girl Guides? How many guides are you guys, and the nature of the organization for people that don't know so well about it?
Yeah, so we are a national organization. I think we have the major organization for girls and young women. We have 19 years old, celebrated in 2021, so almost 100 years of history.
Wow,
and we
100
yes,
years.
not
Almost.
100 or 90, but we are going to 100 in 10 years, so
All right.
90 years. And we are spread all over the country and even islands. Yeah, we empower girls.
And you are hasn't like a non-for-profit in Portugal. It's an association,
exactly.
right?
We are all volunteers.
How many guides?
We are 4,000 spread all over.
4,000. All right. And ages going from
6 to, so I'm an old girl guide. I'm 35, but normally it's until 40, you can say, because we are a youth movement. So it's from 6, and the girl guides are in their local units until they are 23, 24. And then we have like different, like it's unit local, then it's regional, then it's national. I'm at national level now.
Very well.
Started local when I was 9 years old.
Where did you start? Just has curiosity.
Where?
Yeah.
In Pared, in a unit near my home.
Okay, so you were lucky to have like a unit close to home, and who started you? Is like your parents, kind of told you to go to, or friends?
So I was in the school, primary school, and some leaders, like adult volunteers, went to the school to speak about girl guiding, and they did some games, and they showcase what was girl guiding. And I remember I had a leaflet, and I went home and say, I want to be here next, I don't know, on Sunday or Saturday, I don't remember, I think it was on Sunday, next week. And so my parents say, yes, okay, you can go. And that was how I joined girl guiding.
Nice. So your parents were part of, they were onboarding the movement as well. They accepted and
incentivized. And that's a good thing to think about, is that we girl guides help families to educate their children. So education comes from school, from parents, and also non-formal from girl guiding. So yes, family is a very important part on the development and on the onboarding of girl guiding, I must say, yes.
So you're also the head of market access oncology in a pharma company. I guess the question is, how do you manage all these responsibilities?
That's a good question. So once, yes, I am the head of market access in a company, and I was promoted while I was pregnant. So I'm really grateful about being promoted while I was pregnant. So once someone said to me that you don't manage your time, you manage your energy. And that resonated me a lot. And I think about it a lot. And when someone asks me, how can you deal with so many responsibilities? What I normally think is, for me, these are things that I like to do. And I manage, like when I'm on girl guiding, and I can say that I spend a lot of time on girl guiding, as you can imagine.
And how much time do you spend per week?
Per week,
on average, yeah.
For instance, yesterday evening I had a meeting. It's normally outside of my working hours and my family hours. No, normally I have to negotiate with my husband because it's outside working hours, but it's inside family hours, But again,
I know.
it's where
my credit card is on the red right now. to do this podcast. That's actually so. Yeah.
No, but yes. So what I feel is like having different things to do help me to elevate my energy. You know, it's not just work. I go to girl guiding to get some creativity that I then use at work.
Mm-hmm.
Or I feel inspired while I'm representing the pharmacists,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a story of pharmacists in my family. And so yeah, I managed, I think, because I like very much everything that I do. And I also know my boundaries. Sometimes I have to say no to things. I cannot do everything. And another aspect, I think, is prioritization.
Mm-hmm.
On this, everything I do, I have priorities. And my priority is my family. If my kids are sick, the rest stops and I have to support them, you know? So, and for me, that's okay. And yeah, and I don't think I had a lot. It's day by day, doing my best.
Absolutely. And but I guess that sometimes you feel you carry too much on your shoulders.
Yes, sometimes, but fortunately, um, and this is something I learn and I experience in girl guiding, is that we are never alone. We have our group of friends. In girl guiding, we call it patrol. That's a group of girls that it's our patrol. And in my work, as head of market access, I have my team. In the Pharmaceutical Society, I also have a team. So it's like we share responsibilities. So I don't feel that we have too much in my shoulders, because everyone has her role, everyone has her responsibilities. And what I think is very important, and again, I think I heard that in girl guiding, is that we need to be open to say if, okay, it's too much, or
Mm-hmm.
to
Ask
say,
for help.
yeah, ask for help, or to say,
Right.
today I'm not okay. So please excuse me if I'm saying something that's not so good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So create a safe environment, I believe.
Yeah, and I think your friends. That's actually your friends told us that you are always positive and in a keep it simple mood. So, what is the recipe for that?
The recipe. Okay, I don't have recipe. uh,
Pill, maybe.
no, I
No
think
pills, no recipe,
no pills.
no
Yeah, no
drugs.
pills for that. I don't take pills for that. So what some moment in my life, I was struggling with some like control thing, perfection, and so on. And so I had to go deep on knowing myself better. And in that process, I discovered that we have few things that we can control in life. That's what I discovered. And I discovered it most when I had my kids. Like if you have kids, you will notice that there are less things you can control. But then what I can control is the way I deal with things. And then discover that being positive, it's much easier. And trying to keep it simple, it's much easier. So when I discovered it was easier, I tried to be like this, and I discovered that's the way I am. So, and I accept it, you know. So it's not a recipe. I think it's the way I am.
Yeah, as a father of 3 boys myself, sometimes I feel super exhausted at the end of the day. So you get home and it's just not there, right? You just want to eat something, go to sleep. So when you get this extra, the strength, I guess you talk about time and how it's not about time, it's more about energy management. But how do you organize your day? Just give me the playbook, right? You wake up, what time, and what do you do next, and how does it play from there? You take kids to the school, and just give me a glimpse of your day,
So
if you
every
don't
day is
mind.
different.
Yeah, it's just like the average day, maybe.
Yes, the average day. So I wake up early because I have a 3 years old that loves to wake up at 6:30. So I wake up with her normally, and
I can relate to that.
yes, and I accept it because I found out that waking up early, it's a good thing to do. So now my body is used to it. I wake up, I'm with her a little bit, I play a little bit, I have a breakfast, like seated breakfast, and I plan the day. That's what I do in the morning.
You
I would
plan
like,
the day.
yes, I do.
Okay, what is planning the day?
It's
So you
okay.
actually go through the agenda. What do you do? You plan the day with your husband? How
No,
does
with
that
me,
yourself?
yeah. Normally my husband is on Sunday.
Hmm. Okay.
Like we plan the week on Sunday to know who is going to pick them at school, when do I have like an evening meeting, or yeah, if we need some support from grandparents, because we need to ask for some help sometimes, like today.
So you
I
have
need,
your weekly on Sundays and you have your
yes,
daily with yourself every single
yes,
day
yeah,
after breakfast.
yes, because for me it's important to have a realistic plan, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have to make, like in the plan I put some to improvise, because some
Right.
things
Some last
happen that
minute
it's not
stuff.
planned, you know. Yeah,
So when
so
you say
I
plan your day, you go through your agenda and you kind of scribble through the agenda stuff,
yeah, or
or
sometimes it's in my mind.
mm-hmm.
I go through the day and say, okay, today I have to do this, and I prioritize. I don't put much thing in each day. Um, then normally in the morning, fortunately, my husband goes and put my kids at school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start early, like at 9 working. I'm home office now. Sometimes
Right.
I go to the office, but normal now, the fortunate, like,
Is to ask, is your husband home office as well?
no.
Oh, that's good.
He
That's probably
was,
very good. So good.
he was,
Internet sharing sometimes is difficult.
yes, it's true. He is like
I'm on a
one day a week.
call. Turn off. Turn off.
Yes,
Right.
it's true. And normally my colleagues not always know when he is at home, because I lose connection a lot of times during
Yeah,
our
exactly.
meetings. Yeah, but normally he goes to the office. But he stays at home once
So
per
you
week.
stay home and then you have meetings with the Girl Guides or whatever it is. You
During the day, normally is
Mhm.
my work. It's work related.
Right.
It's not only with
But
my colleagues, but I also
work,
work with
it's not
hospitals.
just working for a pharma company. You are also the representative, if I understand right, the South branch of the Portuguese um,
Society,
pharmaceutical
yes.
society. So I guess that also takes a little bit of your time, correct?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a little bit. It's not. It's an investment. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
completely different thing I do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for
It's
me. It's
like
about.
being the head of the association and being the head of markets not enough. Let me go jump into something else. Or what is the tactical approach to accepting stuff, right, that you
Yeah,
see in your life? Is it about investing in your future self? What's the strategy you have behind?
that's a good question. Girl guiding for me. First, it was investing on myself, and now it's like the return on the return to others.
Right, payback time.
That's, yeah, the payback. That's what I feel now. The mission is to pay back and to give the opportunity of other girl guides to feel and to grow as I did in girl guiding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. For the society of pharmaceutical society, I feel it more like I'm the fourth generation of pharmacists in my family.
Okay.
So it goes in my veins, as you can, what you say. And being there, it's more about how can I contribute for the pharmacists. So I think the girl guiding spirit about volunteering, about being the change, I'm using it in the pharmaceutical society in a different way, more professional way. So yeah, we are a team of pharmacists. I'm also a volunteer, but the workload is not so high as in the girl guiding and as in my work.
Right. So, and you are the head of market access oncology at this pharma company. So I'm curious, at what age did you become interested in the pharma world? Because if it runs in the family, was it something that, your parents were talking about as you were very young and they told you, oh, you have to go into this line of business? Or as you grow up, then you decided this is the way to go?
So no one forced me to be a pharmacist, but I had two examples in my family. Two examples, like my parents, but also my grandparent, my great-grandparents. And so I've noticed that I would like to have a science-related activity, that is the scientific pharmaceutical science, and that would be related with people. And in the beginning, I started working in a hospital. I was hospital pharmacist for a while. I supported to open a new hospital. So I liked this challenge in the beginning. And I even thought that I would be working in a pharmacy, like a community pharmacy, the ones that we see in the street. But then something happened, like an opportunity appeared to join pharma industry. And I never thought I would work in a pharma industry, because I always thought that I would be like supporting people, like elderly people. And but then when I joined, I found lots of purpose on the pharma industry, and lots of people from different countries, like international mindset, you know.
Is that what you enjoy the most about your work currently?
Not the most, but there's a huge part. Like the way we work, I work in a multinational company. Right. I normally work in English. I have people from different backgrounds, different professions, different countries, and that inspires me a lot. And then the purpose of what I'm doing. So I managed to bring some of the knowledge I have, and then to support, in this case, is oncology, because I choose to work on this area.
So what exactly is that to enjoy the most right now? What is the challenge?
Yeah. Specific in my job?
Yeah.
So oncology.
Oncology, you're right. It's a very very hard topic for most people. Obviously, it's super important, but you know, I think the question is, can you leave work and not think about it at home? And how do you do that decoupling between what you're doing, especially now, right? Because we're all home and you're home. Well, technically, I'm not home. I'm here in the studio, but I think you understand what my point, right? Is this decoupling, not just the life-work balance that everyone is talking about, but I guess the specific kind of job that you're doing in oncology.
So the job I do, I don't see patients. Normally in pharma industry, we cannot see patients. I work with the physicians, with the health authorities, with hospital pharmacists. And my specific role is that I support the reimbursement of oncology drugs, meaning that we have a new oncology drug that will save lives or that will improve life. And what I do is that I have some conversations with health authority and negotiate that if they are willing to reimburse, so every Portuguese can, with that specific oncology disease, can use the drug. And so I feel that for me is a purpose, like this drug is good and anyone that has the need should use it. So I'm supporting our health system to have the possibility to use it. So that's what I do.
Very, very well. And how hard is it to convince the national health system authorities about, you know, accepting new drugs into their portfolio of reimbursable drugs?
It's hard. It takes time.
When you say time, it's like on average, like 5 years?
On average, it's like 1.5 years, 2 years from the starting point until we have a final decision from, normally who signs the decision is the Secretary of State, Health Secretary of State.
Yeah, very famous guy now in Portugal.
Exactly.
For obvious reasons.
And Infarmed, that is also famous. It's the place I have lots of meetings. But yes, it's hard because it has different moments. We have to use the science first, the evidence, the clinical trials to show the value. And then we have to prove how much would be the Portuguese society willing to pay for the value of this new drug.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, we have to sign a contract. So that's in a brief, that's how it works for new drugs to be reimbursed.
Yeah, I know this is probably not the question that you were expecting, but I just don't resist, and feel free to skip it. But how do you feel the Portuguese health system is organized? Is the right one, or do you think there's lots of space to improve on it in terms of the model, right? Because the Portuguese model, if I know right, it's it's inspired in the British system.
Yes.
There are other systems out there. It's a big world. So do you think this is a good model for our society? Do you think there's maybe other models that we should be looking into?
Yeah, thank you for this question, because I also very passionate about our health system. So
okay, nice.
I won't skip it.
Great, that's good.
So I think, according to our health organization, World Health Organization, we are the best, one of the best health system in the world, compared with others. Yes, we are more and less the same basics of the NHS, so the UK health system. I think we have space of improvement, but that's because for me, it's not the system itself, because I think we are very fortunate to have a public system in place. So everyone that has a need can go to a public hospital. So, and we are very fortunate to have that. And if we compare to other countries, the system is very good. However, what I feel is that you have to make a kind of transformation or evolution on the system, because the system initially it was prepared for a specific type of diseases, like you could say like acute diseases, but now diseases are more chronic. And so what sometimes some people say is that the system has to transform to be prepared to the new diseases, or
right.
the new
diseases of the 21st century.
Exactly.
That are different from, when the system was created, at least here in Portugal 45 years ago.
But for me, this is a very important topic, and I would love to discuss more with you about it.
Great. I mean, I'm definitely not the most qualified person to talk about it. But obviously, we're all, health. It's one of those things, right? You can't try to escape health, national system, private system, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to interact with a doctor at any point of your life. So, getting into your leadership style, and as a leader of one of the largest youth, definitely one of the largest youth associations in this country, do you consider that we are creating good young leaders? And that this is a very controversial aspect, because you go to employers or professors at the university, and they complain that these new kids, they don't used to be like, or they're not like they used to be. They don't have the same stamina, or they're not as well prepared, or whatever it is. So do you think there's this lack of good young leaders, or just how do you see this new generation? And you're dealing with Gen Z every single, I don't know, week at least, right? So how do you see this?
So that's very personal, this opinion that I'll give about this. And I think I understand when you say it's controversial. We also have girl guides, like girls that join Girl Guiding, that are from that generation. And I don't feel they will be less leaders. I think what we need to accept is that every person is different, and we have different generations that are conditioned because of the environment, the context, everything,
Right.
And so what I think we should leverage is like people to be themselves, or young people to be themselves. And for me, being a leader is like knowing you very well and have space to be yourself and to go and to live your dreams or your ambitions, you know, and then bring the others with you. But for that, you need to feel comfortable about yourself. So yeah, and what I feel is like there are some parts of our society that want for these young people to be not themselves, but the way they want themselves to be, you know, like expectations and so on. But again, this is a very personal opinion.
Okay. And the movement, how has the movement grown over time, since you have been president, which has been since when?
President since 2019, so
Right.
2019.
So from the last 2 years, how what are the current challenges? And I guess, you know, because of the circumstances of the pandemic, you also have the transition to digital meetings at a certain point and so on. But I guess there's a much bigger picture for you in terms of what is your vision for the association here in Portugal. So I would like to understand what is your vision for the association.
Yeah. So like every association, young association, so there was a challenge during COVID. So I never knew that I would be leading, not alone, we would be leading the association during a pandemic.
Right. Although you would probably be one of the most qualified person to do that, right? Because of your pharma experience and so on.
So in the association, our association, we have like the president and we have the national commissioner. So again, I'm not alone. And we work side by side. I'm a pharmacist.
And everyone is a woman.
Yes, everyone is woman.
It's a 100% women structure.
Exactly.
With 4,000 women, 4,000 women and girls. Okay, yes. That's a very, very yeah, that's actually the first time I'm thinking about it in those terms right now, right? Which is unorthodox in a way. Obviously, it's coming where it's coming from. So, what are the specific challenges of leading all women dash girls organization?
Not specific challenge of us being all girls. So that's not. I think the challenge are an organization for young people, you know. And so during this time, and going again to the vision, what we want is like our movement, our association it's a senior association. It's like 90 years old. And since the beginning, we were founded by Robert Baden-Powell, Lord Baden-Powell, and
so the same founder of the Scout movement founded the Girls Guide movement.
Asked for some help to his wife, Olaf Baden-Powell.
And what was the reason behind it? Was it because people started asking, why don't you do this for women? And then he decided, okay, maybe we should do this for women. What was or girls? What was the rationale behind the creation?
Those days, Scouts were only for boys, and then some girls wanted to also be Scouts because they didn't have another way to be or to learn and to grow. So they started the Girl Guiding movement. And so there are Scouts for boys and Girl Guides for girls. And we have countries that, for instance, UK, Girl Guides are for girls and Scouts are only for boys. US, more and less. But yes, that's the reason why it's appearing the Girl Guides. But then Girl Guides was founded by Robert Baden-Powell, and the principles that were in his head like 100 years ago are still up to date. And for me, is incredible. Like the outdoors, the working with a group of people, the commitment, the progress, like individual progress. And it's very interesting. And that's go to another reflection, is that some people say that Robert Baden-Powell was inspired with Montessori, you know?
Yeah, Montessori.
Now it's very common to speak about Montessori.
Absolutely.
And we don't know that if it's true or not, but some people say that it might have like some inspiration or some I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
It makes sense because they were
Yes.
almost contemporary to each other.
Exactly.
I guess Montessori, it's more like 19th century, but Robert Baden-Powell could have been, at least theoretically, that's possible.
So what is interesting is that, imagine now, 100 years later, in Portuguese, 90 years later, we have like girls, and we promote a safe space for girls.
That's
where
actually
they can be
super curious, Barbara, right? Because the Portuguese Association was created, you know, almost at the same time of I guess the UK Association in you know, right? Only 10 years after or something like that.
More than 10 years, yeah. Because I'm saying 100 is more and less, but we are a little bit more than 100 years. We were inspired by the UK Girl Guides. Right. So the UK Girl Guides were the first ones being here, and then the Portuguese Girl Guides appeared.
Do you know who brought the movement to Portugal?
There were some companies in Carcavelos, here near, in Madeira, in Porto. That was the first from the UK. And then there was a traveling from Olaf Baden-Powell. That was the wife of Lord Baden-Powell. And they were, we saw a letter like 1 month ago where this was written while we were looking to the archive because of the celebration of the 19 years. And it was a letter from Olaf Baden-Powell to a chief in Madeira, because Madeira was very important for our association. Right.
And that was when it was created here in Portugal for the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Madeira, for helping on the creation. So, you know, when it comes to non-formal education and what do you think it's the impact it has on young people today? And I guess my second question is, of course, Girl Guides do that, but the Scouts also do that. So how do you pitch the guides against the Scouts? And I guess this is a question lots of people should have, but if you if you are a little girl and you're trying to decide whether you go to the Scouts or you go to the guides, what's the different value proposition?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. Imagine you are a girl, you have specific needs, specific behaviors. Your biology is very specific. And so in girl guiding, you create a safe environment. It's not a protected environment, because some people sometimes think, oh, you are just girls. No, it's a safe environment where you remove all the gender things related that can sometimes in a negative way contribute to be less out myself. And then what we do is like we promote for girls, and that's the mission we have, for them to be their best version and to empower them to be citizens of the world. And so in girl guiding, we have lots of experience. We are organized in small groups because, like, again, the teamwork or the way we deal, the way we work on teams is very important for us. And we use a lot the outdoors. So imagine every week we have meetings. The girl guides have meetings, but then we have camps on summer or on Easter or on winter. So during the holidays. And so
when you're trying to explain what non-formal education is to parents, how do you explain that? And and I guess more important than that is, what is the actual importance of non-formal education? And for kids, maybe it comes naturally, but for parents might not be so obvious, right? Because you want your kid to know math, you want your kid to know Portuguese or to write or whatever it is. But what is non-formal education and why should you care?
That's a good point, because so formal education is the education you have at school. Yeah. So it's mandatory. Every kid has to go to school.
Yeah.
And as you know, schools today are very focused on knowledge and very on curriculum, and the curriculums are huge.
Yeah.
And then you have non-formal education, and you have associations like the Girl Guide Association, where you can promote and develop the girl in many areas. You empower to be the best version. And it's not only about knowledge, it's also about soft skills, it's also about relationship, it's also about physical. So we use different areas in every activity we do with the girls. We are working on different areas like spirituality, physical, emotional, knowledge, like intellectual.
Why do you stop at 40, right? That's actually when people start needing that the most.
Because we are a youth movement.
I know.
No, but that's a good question, because one of the tools we have, because normally we have a method. We call it the guiding method. We have different tools we use. And one is that the relationship between the young and the older one. And the relationship, we are not parents. We are like younger sisters.
A mentorship relationship.
Yeah, we are younger sisters. We are older sisters, you know.
And how do you see? Obviously, you have seen this through your own eyes for many girls. What is the real impact? What do you see? Give me the delta, right, between a girl coming in at 6 or 7, joining the Girl Guides, and leaving at, I don't know, maybe 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, whatever, but maybe not much older than that. What is the takeaway? What is the transformation that you think that is possible belonging to this movement? And we had a very, very interesting conversation, I guess 2 years ago, with an Israeli author of a book called Chutzpah, about non-formal education in Israel. And obviously is a very, very complex and different setting and environment, because, as you know, in Israel, they have, arguably most of the education in Israel is non-formal. You go to the army, everyone goes to the army, and it's not just the army. You go to the paramedics, and you go to other branches as well. So non-formal education is very big, but how do you see this delta of the person, the youngster that comes in and leaves the organization? What is the transformation that you're trying to get this person into?
So I'm always getting emotional because I'm pregnant, and I feel like, a young woman that goes to girl guiding, that joins girl guiding, she has the space to experiment lots of things. And I'm now imagining what I experiment when I was younger. If I was not in girl guiding, I would never camp, make fire. I would never be challenged, because that's one thing that the girl guides normally do, is you know yourself better because you are exposed to many different experiences, and then you normally are okay when you are challenged. You accept the challenge, and you take risks. You
learn how to take risks, and you learn to accept risk in your life.
Yeah, because
that's very interesting.
Baden-Powell also says that you remove the I am letters from the word impossible. So everything is possible when you are a girl guide, because you are really challenged, and you imagine and you can do it. So
right. That's actually one of the things that Inbal Ariely from Chutzpah, the author, she said, it's you become much more confident in yourself as well, right?
Yeah.
Um,
and
so
there's
more.
Let me just add something that I think is very important, and that comes from the quote in the beginning, like being the change. A girl guide is very aware of what's happening around, because we are always asking, we are always trying to see what can I support,
right?
Who can I support? And so the transformation for me is also being, we call it sempre alerta in Portuguese. So it's like being prepared, or always be available.
Always being prepared.
Yes, always being prepared. And this is very, it can start at home, like you are prepared to support your family,
right?
Or in your work, the people you work with, your friends, or even your community, or so that's one thing that is very common on a girl guide. So the challenge part, and the being prepared, and to care with others, about others.
Right, caring about others. One of the things that we're very, very much fond here at Productized is this link with STEAM, science, tech, engineering, arts, maths. Are you also trying to bring STEAM to the activities you do with the girls?
Yes, not in a formal way. We don't say it's STEAM, but yes, we have. So each girl has her individual progression. You can say, like, is progressão in Portuguese. I was trying to translate, but imagine you join the movement, you join the association, and you, depending on what your age is, you have like a educational program where you have to experiment, you have to do things, you have to learn things, and it's very holistic. It's like, it can be math related, it can be science, it can be home related, it can be, so it's very holistic. And even for those that are almost entering the university, so are in the college,
right?
They are normally inspired to do what we call the specialization. You can say it's like specialities. It's like, imagine, I think I like something, but I'm not sure. Let's try it. So, for instance, myself, when I was like 14 or 15 years old, I did like a specialization in astronomy. Because why not? I think I like it.
Where at the Girl Guides or outside?
At the Girl Guides.
Oh,
it's one of the, imagine, like, for one specific period, you will be the person or the Girl Guide that will know more about that specific subject.
Right.
And so, yeah.
So you have like different tracks that allow them to explore topics.
And they choose. Each one choose what they will do according to their preferences.
So we have a question here from our audience, great audience. Hi, from Sarah, actually. So she's asking, so thank you for representing our association. So she's a Girl Guide. So what do you think employers should know soft and hard skills about a Girl Guide when they see it on a CV?
Yeah. So I think what they should know is that we are very well prepared to work with teams. And for me, I think that is very powerful when we are in a work environment, that you have really good skills of time management and decision and problem solving. And another thing that I was mentioning before is about accepting challenges, like taking risks. And not everyone is prepared for that. Like the people, so young people sometimes are the opposite.
Right.
So
for a reference, so taking risks is one, and teamwork
and also the problem solving and the time management, I would say.
So being leadership, a shared journey that empowers us to work together and bring positive change to our lives, the lives of others, and our wider society. And I'm quoting from the WAG's guide, which is the Girl Guides guide. What advice would you give to use this motto in our days, in our, every single day?
So this is a quote from the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. I didn't mention, but our association is part of this movement, international. So we are 10 million around the world. And yeah, so this is a way of perceiving leadership. So what we believe is that everyone is a leader. So it's not related with status, with position, with everyone can be a leader. And being a leader is like knowing himself or herself and doing a positive impact on herself, on the others, on the world. And so what we do in girl guiding is that we create a safe environment for girls, for them to be themselves and to be leaders in every day, like at school, in work, at home. And being leader is making a positive impact on the world. So being the change we want to see in the world in a positive way.
Yeah. Psychological safety is such an important topic nowadays in the workplace. What kind of, has ahead now in your profession? What kind of practice or tactics do you use with your teams to create a psychological safe environment? And even now, right? Because online, I don't know if it's improving to make psychological safety better. I would say so. Because the moment you are in your space, arguably you feel safer. But at the same time, it gets mixed, because suddenly people are, might bully you through Slack or through email or whatever it is, right? So it's very easy to, destroy destroy or not to be in a safe, psychologically safe work environment. So it's a very delicate flower, right? So what kind of tactics do you use to create this safe environment?
So I think listening
in the workplace.
I
Right.
think listening, it's very important. Active listening, no judgment, only listening, because normally we want to address something that the person is saying, but no, listening is very important. With my team in my workplace, what I normally do is like we have regular meetings. Now we are all of us home office. And in every meeting, we do a moment of check-in, meaning that it's just about getting rid of things, emptying the glass sometimes, or things that are bothering. It can be professional or personal. It's a way for them to, okay.
Do you have like a specific meeting in a week to do that, or?
No, it's our team meeting that is every 2 weeks.
Oh, every 2 weeks when you have like a team meeting, you do that with the
the
entire
first
team.
part is just to get rid, it's like a moment where you just say what you have to say.
Yeah, but to get to that, right, you have to have a very high level of confidence, right? I mean,
yes,
not every single team is ready to boil it down to your colleague and say, oh, I had this personal issue, right? People tend to be, I guess, personal or private about those. So getting there is also a challenge.
Yes.
Getting to that level.
But it's possible.
It is.
But it takes time to get there. But when you get there, it's amazing, I think. The way you interact with people. How do you get there? How I get there?
Yeah. How do you think teams can get there? And what are the small baby steps that they should be doing to get to that level of confidence and psychological safety?
So I don't know the recipe. This is very personal. I think you have to create a honest space, where I think the listening part and the no judgment is very important, because when you feel judged, you don't say what you are feeling. So you have to be careful when you listen to someone. And I'm not talking about like the leader listening, like everyone's listening, like your peer or your boss. So the way then I think you are working, but a person is a person. It's not work, only work. So I think you have to see a person, like a human being, and sometimes you go straight to the work related topics, and sometimes he needs to speak about something else, and you need to respect it. And for me, that is creating a safe environment. Like you respect that person that it's with you, that human being. This may seem some cliche, but I'm experimenting this in my journey, and when people do this with me, I feel much better.
And do you feel, at least from your own experience, that remote is eroding this psychological safe environment, or you can also continue to have that in a remote in a remote working environment? Like I guess
I think you can also have it. Yeah. You have to promote it, but you can also have it.
Be more active about promoting it. All right, I think we're kind of on a segue to my next question, which is, what kind of books would you recommend your friends to read on, leadership, psychological safety, being upfront, like you are? Any specific suggestions?
Yes, I like to read a lot. I normally read a bit before going to bed, because it's like a washout from the day. And so I always have something to read. And like for 2 years now, I've been following Brené Brown from US. She's a researcher about topics about leadership and so on. So she has a book that is called Daring Greatly. That is about imperfection and how you deal with yourself. And I really did that was really transforming for me, reading that book. So I would recommend Daring Greatly from Brené Brown.
Why was it transformational to you?
It spoke about, I read a lot about the vulnerability, about removing the armor. Like people, when people connect with each other, normally they are not so honest about themselves. And when I read it, and that is based on research, so that my scientific part I have. So the book is based on research she did. She said something like, it's more powerful when you are yourself being a leader than if you want to be something differently. And being yourself is like being vulnerable. Like if you are okay, you are okay. If you have some problem at home, you say you have some problem at home. You don't need to be perfect. So, and that was really transforming and gave me some courage on some topics of my life. And that's the Daring Greatly. And there is another book from the founder of Girl Guides, that is the O Rastro do Fundador. That is like a book with lots of quotes from Lord Baden-Powell. And for me, it's really inspiring. Because that's the way he perceived the world and the way he started this big movement. And yeah, that's not a book to read every day. It's like sometimes when I need to be inspired, I go to that book and I read some quote from him.
Very well. Well, Thank you, Barbara. It was really, really great having you with us. So good luck on your last stage of pregnancy. And hopefully Afonso, well, he will not be joining the Girl Guides, but who knows, the Scouts or any other movement. And yes, thank you also for joining us at Productized Podcast. If you enjoyed your stay, give us your review on Apple Podcast and share this episode with friends and colleagues. We also have show notes and more episodes at productized.medium.com. You can also join our community, and we'll be sharing the links in the chat. This podcast was hosted by me, André Marquet, produced by Teresa Sigismundo, with research by Katarina Scherzik, and sound editing by Daniel Alves. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Bye.